Hey everybody, I'm Alex.
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Maggie, and this is
What's Between Your Ears?
Hi, my name's Alex, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about brain structure. I'm also going to get into a little bit of function, but that'll come later. So let's get started. So today we're going to talk about this big squishy globe between your ears. It's called your brain. It's essentially how you exist in the world, how you think, how you move. Your brain controls your whole body and everything you do. So we're going to draw it as a side view. So your brain is divided into these chunks called lobes, and they all do different things. So we've got one on the side, one in the back here, and two up top. And these divisions between your brain are called sulci and fissures. But all you really need to know is that they divide up the different lobes of your brain. So this one right here that runs from front to back on the side is called your sylvian fissure or your lateral fissure because it runs laterally or side to side. This one is called your central sulcus, and it's called that because it runs down the center of your brain. And then back here we have your parieto-occipital sulcus. Big word, but it means that it divides between your occipital lobe and your parietal lobe. So we've got kind of a mishmash word, parieto-occipital, that defines this sulcus right here. Okay, so we talked about how our lobes are divided up by these fissures and sulci. So now we're going to talk about the lobes. So this guy up here, it's up in the front, so it's called your frontal lobe. And a little bit about the function here, this is where your personality lives. So this part of your brain controls your behavior. It's related to emotions, judgment, speech, and writing. And what's really cool, my favorite part of the brain, is your motor cortex. So it's this little division right here. And it's kind of like a headband. So it's this part, this darker pink. And that controls how your body moves. So the reason that I can do this is because my motor cortex is coordinating all of that movement, which I think is pretty cool. And then back here, we have your parietal lobe. So it's this guy in green. And this is where you have language information. It's where your body senses where it is in space. And it also contains your somatosensory cortex, which is this little division right here, right next to the motor cortex. And this is my friend Maggie's favorite part of the brain. And this place in your brain helps you sense the world around you. So it controls, like if I brush my hand, the reason that I can tell that I'm touching my hand is because of this guy right here, my somatosensory cortex. Down here, this guy in red is your temporal lobe. So it's right on the side of your head, kind of near to your ears, which makes sense because it's involved in hearing, which is really cool. And then back here, we have your occipital lobe. And this is associated with all of your vision input. So your occipital lobe helps, I guess, translate information that comes in from your eyes so that you can sense the world around you through visual stimuli, which is really cool. And we can't forget about this little guy back here. So this is our cerebellum, or some people like to call it the hindbrain. And little known fact, cerebellum actually means little brain, which I think is really cute. And this is in charge of like posture, balance, coordination. So if you didn't have a cerebellum, you would have a really hard time walking in a straight line. Okay, so we're gonna make a little jump here. So we're gonna call this one half of your brain. So let's say if your brain was like this and it was sliced in half right down the middle and opened up, this would be what the inside of one of those slices would look like. So your brain has two hemispheres, so two halves that each look like this from the inside, and they have to communicate with each other somehow because they're not really well connected. So that's where this little guy comes in. This green arc is called your corpus callosum. And this is like a telephone wire between the two halves of your brain, and it allows them to communicate and share information about what's going on around you, what other information is going on just from the inside of your brain. So basically this is just a connection between the two halves of your brain. And then also in the center of your brain, we have what is called the limbic system. It consists of some of these three parts. So this in the dark blue is your cingulate gyrus, this is your hippocampus, and this is your amygdala. And these three are part of your limbic system, which is related to emotional control and your memory. The hippocampus is most closely related with memory. So the limbic system overall is how you feel emotions. It's how you respond to situations in an emotional way. It's how you feel angry, how you feel sad, how you feel happy, how you feel anxiety, how you feel scared. All of that comes from your limbic system. And then in your hippocampus, that is most closely related with memory. So think about your 5th birthday party. If you can remember it, that's because of your hippocampus. Then we have our thalamus, which is this guy right here, and our hypothalamus. So our thalamus is essentially a relay station for all of the information coming into and going out of your brain. And then your hypothalamus is what I like to call your basic brain. So it controls all of your basic functions like thirst and hunger and sleep. So folks, that's about it for this episode of What's Between Your Ears. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.